So I have a question for you. Are you doing what you want to be doing in your life right now? Or do you feel like you need a reset, or maybe you're in the middle of one that perhaps you didn't choose for yourself? The Reset is all about bringing you some candid conversations with people who are brave enough to have them. And I recently sat down with Dr. Lori Stevic-Rust. She's a clinical health psychologist, and she admits in one pivotal moment, fear almost detoured her whole career. What she says about how to find your strength and reset your purpose.
Game changer for me. Major reset, yeah.
1988, Dr. Lori Stevic-Rust's first day of her internship at Henry Ford Hospital in Detroit, Michigan.
I woke up that morning to get ready, and I could hear all these voices in my head. The voices of all my professors during my clinical experiences saying how women are supposed to be psychologists.
In their mind, there was a blueprint specifically for women.
Yes. You know, it was important that I wear sensible shoes, not flats, not spiky heels, but sensible shoes, sensible colors. Psychologists, particularly women, I don't know if the men ever got these kind of messages, but you know, crying as a psychologist was really frowned upon.
The late 80s, a different era in so many ways. And as Lori tells us, her very first case was with a man in room 3, who she says wouldn't be a priority for some medical professionals back then.
I knew from reading the chart that this was somebody who had AIDS, and he was gay. And so of course, at the time, if somebody who was gay had AIDS, you could feel the writing them off on the floor. So now I entered the room, and what I saw was a young man with his eyes so crystal blue, but sunken deep inside of his head. I could feel the level of shame in that room. And on his nightstand was just a plain wooden frame of 2 smiling men, young men, on a bicycle. There were no get well cards, there were no balloons, there was nothing in that room. And as he caught me glance past it, he said to me, "Yes, that used to be me."
And suddenly, she felt the sting in her eyes. She couldn't stop herself from doing what she wasn't supposed to do.
Any woman who's watching this knows the duality of our messages. We should be this and this. And I didn't know what to do. And so as I started to cry, I could see my supervisor kind of roll his eyes. And I thought, this is not a profession for me. I can't help this young man. I'm not equipped or prepared. I left the room and I started to cry in the hallway. So all of these voices are floating in my head, and I thought I have a choice to make. I can leave the profession, I can leave the floor, and then make a decision about what to do with the rest of my life. Or I can go back in there. And I can go back in there as Lori, not as this person that I'm expected to be.
This was her reset, her moment of clarity.
I took a deep breath and I went back in that room. And I pulled up a chair and I sat next to his bed. His name was Nelson. Nobody called him Nelson, they called him room 3. And for an hour, I listened to Nelson's stories about his life and about how his family had disowned him because he was gay, how there was nobody in the waiting room, how life didn't have any more meaning for him. And I came back for, I would say, about another 4 days, every day, to have conversation with Nelson. And at the end of that time, he gave me the gift of what I carry with me today. He looked at me and he thanked me for being real, for showing up really as a person. And in that moment, I realized I'll never go back to being an imposter. I'll never go back to being inauthentic. I will be the psychologist who can wear high heels and be smart. I will be the psychologist who can laugh and be serious. I'll be the psychologist who can cry and still be taken seriously. And that changed everything for me.
I don't want to give a false sense of what happened here. You were fearful, you went in, you were you made this decision. My assumption is, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's not as though you were never fearful again in those moments.
Oh, no. Fearful all the time. The way that I, with my strengths and my weaknesses and my flaws and my gifts, all wrapped into one, I'm going to show up in a room with all of that. And sometimes it's not always easy, but every time I do it, I think, this is what we're here for.
I'm telling you, it was such a fascinating conversation. She has so many more things to say that are on WKYC Plus. Full interview is there for you, but it was one of those things that reminded me too. You can be this. Find your ands and live your ands. You can be smart and funny,
and be your authentic self.
Yes.
Like just be you.
You can be all of those things, even if
Exactly.
they're imperfect.
and you can be taken seriously and achieve your goals if you're you. I love that. Was really powerful.
That's what stood out
Thanks
to
for
me
sharing.
too.
Yeah,
Thank you.
She's pretty amazing. You're going to want to see the rest of it too. So.